Hey, this is Basketball Talk 77, and today's video is part 2 on the Suns. Now, in part 1, I talked more generally about the Suns, and I'll leave a link in the description for that video, but I talked about their key pieces and my guarantee for the Suns that they will make the playoffs. I also talked about where I think they will be in terms of seeding and my review of their offseason moves. In this video, I will talk about possible trades that will help make the Suns better and how they match up with other Western Conference mid-playoff teams. And I will include a player that I think will be a great fit on the Suns that they can acquire in a trade. So, enjoy. Despite the Suns being the 1 seed in the Western Conference at the moment, there are ways for them to improve, namely at the point guard position. Now, Chris Paul is at a high level now, but a main concern about him is his age. He will be 35 by the end of the season, and we just don't know how long he's going to be playing at a top point guard level. Now, with the new way athletes are taking care of their bodies, spurred on by Chris Paul and LeBron James, he could last until he's 40 or older, but I imagine that he's not going to be at this top point guard level for another, say, 5 years. And he could be, I don't know, but I just worry that perhaps he's not going to be that good. He's not going to be good enough when Devin Booker reaches his prime, which will be in a few years, and then DeAndre Ayton a few more years after that. And they're going to want a player that's more in the age range of Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. So Chris Paul will be good for them this season, and perhaps you want to keep him. But if the Suns feel like they need to find a replacement for Chris Paul, I think that you need a player that has similar skills to Chris Paul, looking mainly for good playmaking, ball handling, and perimeter defense, because Devin Booker has never been the best perimeter defense player. And so they're going to need one player there that can play defense on the perimeter. And of those two attributes that we're looking for, I'd say the best person to trade for and the mystery star player that the Suns can acquire through a trade is Ben Simmons. Now, of the two attributes we're looking for regarding our replacement for Chris Paul, they are mainly playmaking and perimeter defense. Ben Simmons excels in both categories, being one of the best perimeter defenders in the league at his point guard position, while also being a great playmaker, this year averaging 7 assists. He also would be relatively easy to trade for, considering that he is on a team that might not want him in a few years. Now, the Sixers are top of the conference right now, but if they decide that they don't want Ben Simmons and that he is hurting the team or he doesn't want to be there because of all the trade rumors he's been in lately, then they'll be looking for a replacement for Ben Simmons. And who would be better to pair with Joel Embiid than a point guard that's perfect with pairing for big men, great at shooting, and also great in the pick and roll? Chris Paul, on the other end of the trade would be great pairing with Joel Embiid and would be a great pickup for the Sixers. Now, they are vastly over the salary cap, which means, and Chris Paul's contract is larger than Ben Simmons, so it can't be a straight one-to-one trade. However, if the Sixers added Danny Green into the trade, who would make it so that the Suns were paying more, or rather, the Suns were paying more for who they were getting than they were giving up, would be more beneficial for the Sixers, and therefore it would be easier for them to agree to a deal where they were coming back with more room in the salary than they had before. Perhaps if they, the Suns, threw in a first-round picks to even out the talent level, that would improve the deal even more. With this, the Suns would get a player that was in the age range of Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, as Ben Simmons is younger than Devin Booker but older than DeAndre Ayton, and would provide that perimeter defender / playmaker that would complete the big three in Phoenix. And he would become the missing piece that would turn the Suns in from a decent team that's a 3rd seed and a borderline contender to a full-on contender, possible favorite in a few years to come. And that is what I see from the Suns in the future, a trade that they could do. It will make it so that they have very little salary cap room. However, it will be okay because when they acquire Ben Simmons, they will have all the pieces needed, 3 stars. They will have all the pieces needed for becoming a contender, and they will not need to make any new free agency choices. So, after that, they will pretty much have completed all the moves they need to do for the foreseeable future, at least that I can see now. That's a trade they could do if they feel Chris Paul is too old for their other stars. I think they should keep him this year because he's definitely a win-now player, and they need to win now. And I also think the Suns are primed for an upset because the Suns, they have the right pieces to take down a lot of the teams that we think are going to be mid-playoff, like the Trailblazers, like the Nuggets. Let's take the Trailblazers, for example. They'd have a great player to guard Damian Lillard and Chris Paul. They would have no one to guard, or they would have, no one to guard Devin Booker, because CJ McCollum isn't a good defender. So he would be great. And, of course, Hassan Whiteside, or whoever the Blazers would have at center, would be able to guard DeAndre Ayton, but I think those 2 other matchups would be enough for the Suns to win. And that kind of dynamic goes for a few of the other teams. I think they could make the second round, but like I said, I guarantee them to make the playoffs. And the team they have now, I could see being a 3rd or 4th seed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get more content like this. I am going to be making more content like this, and if you put a comment below on what team you want to hear about next, I will do a video on that team. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and see you next time.